What is going on, everybody? And today I'm talking about Freakier Friday. I wanted to do this one with a good amount of excitement. This 2003 Freakier Friday is one of my favorite comedies from the early 2000s. It had this perfect mix of hard-cover humor and a really fun premise. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan's chemistry back then was pitch perfect, and the body swap gimmick felt fresh because it was tied directly to the emotional core of the story. So when I heard they were doing a sequel over 2 decades later with the original leads returning, I thought we could be in for a nostalgic but also new experience. I was hoping it wouldn't just rehash old jokes, but would instead take the concept in a bigger, funnier, maybe even heartfelt direction. Unfortunately, after seeing it, I walked out disappointed. Freakier Friday feels like it's leaning too hard on nostalgia, that it forgets to bring the same energy, originality, or sincerity that made the first film so beloved. It's not a complete disaster, but it constantly feels like it's playing it safe, afraid to do anything that might step outside the shadow of the original. The story follows Hannah, now an adult preparing for a wedding, still close with her mom Tess, but with the occasional tension between them. A magical mishap causes them to swap bodies again, this time pulling Tess's soon-to-be stepdaughters into the chaos. While the multiple swaps idea had the potential for fresh comedy, tangled misunderstandings, and a bigger emotional punch, the film instead delivers scenes that feel beat for beat like the original, just with more characters and less focus. The single biggest strength of Freakier Friday is still the chemistry between Curtis and Lohan. No matter how messy the script gets, they bring an undeniable warmth and believability to their mother-daughter dynamic. You can feel the history between them, and their scenes together, whether heartfelt or comedic, are easily the highlight of the movie. The acting overall is solid across the board, with Curtis once again throwing herself fully into the absurdity of playing someone decades younger, and Lohan delivering a surprisingly grounded performance when things get emotional. The movie also has an easygoing, watchable quality that makes it enjoyable on a surface level. You can put it on and have a good time if you're not thinking too hard about it. Now the negatives really stack up when you dig deeper. The humor often falls flat, unlike the 2003 original, where jokes naturally grew out of the characters and their crazy situations. Here the comedy feels forced and repetitive. There are scenes where the punchlines are either painfully obvious or overused until they lose any spark. What's worse, many of the supposedly funniest moments were already spoiled in the trailers, so they feel stale and predictable by the time you see them in the movie. It's like the film runs out of funny before it even starts. The pacing also leaves a lot to be desired. Some scenes drag endlessly, beating the dead jokes into the ground, while others rush through moments that actually needed space to breathe. Whether emotional beats or important plot points, this uneven rhythm makes the movie feel disjointed, jumping abruptly from one subplot to another without giving you time to really connect. You'll find yourself halfway into a character moment only to be yanked away, which undercuts any real investment. The writing doesn't do the characters any favors either. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan still have great chemistry, but the script rarely gives them fresh or sharp material to work with. Instead, it leans heavily on their presence alone, as if that's enough to carry the scenes. The new characters, especially the daughters caught up in the body swaps, could have injected some fun tension or chaos, but instead they come off as one-dimensional and underdeveloped. They feel less like real people and more like plot devices added just to complicate the story without adding much interest. On top of that, the emotional core that made the original so effective feels much weaker this time around. The first film balanced its laughs with genuine heart, making the relationship between Anna and Tess feel earned and relatable. Here, the sentimental moments either feel rushed or get lost amid slapstick antics. When the movie attempts sincerity, it seems like it's ticking a box, doing what the first film did without really building those feelings organically through the story. Finally, there's a noticeable lack of risk-taking. With the premise expanding to multiple body swaps, you'd expect some wild, unpredictable comedy set pieces, but instead, the movie mostly rehashes the same old scenarios we've seen before: awkward public behavior, confused friends, embarrassing social encounters. The formula is repeated again and again. The few new twists it tries to add don't go far enough to make the film stand out, leaving it feeling safe and overly familiar rather than fresh and surprising. So overall, while Freakier Friday is not offensively bad, it's a missed opportunity that could have been so much more. It's too safe, too familiar, and too dependent on the audience's nostalgia to be memorable on its own. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10, and that's me being generous. That's my full take on Freakier Friday. I'm curious to hear what you all thought of it. Did it capture the fun and heart of the original for you, or did it fall flat like it did for me? Were there moments you really enjoyed it, or parts that just didn't work? Whether you loved it, hated it, or somewhere in between, drop your thoughts and opinions. I'm always interested in hearing different perspectives.